syrup at the house.
So your syrup is bourbon based?
Yeah, I've got a bourbon-based syrup. I don't know what brand it is. So my dad handed it to me. So here, try this. It's really good.
Well, Kim, you were talking about old fashions a moment ago.
That's my favorite.
I just learned last night that they were started with gin. That was the
Really?
original cocktail.
Ugh.
I know, it doesn't sound too good.
No, it doesn't.
Yeah. I mean, I don't mind
Unless you
gin.
do like a Hendrix gin, and then you do something like that. I don't know.
We have a place in Frederick. I forget what it's called, but they have lavender fields, and it's a distillery, and they make their own. I've told you about this, Alex. Lavender gin. Oh my god, that stuff is unbelievable. You just drink it straight. It just has the perfect hint of lavender going through it. They've won like countless awards for it. It's so freaking good. I came across. I was going
I'm
through
still
my
waiting
old.
for you to send me a bottle, by the way.
No, I think we talked about it. Yeah, I was going through my. I have a stand, sort of like a little bar. Pull it down, everything comes up. I was going through that because we had some people over, and I had a half of a bottle just hanging out in the bottom. I totally forgot I had it. That shit didn't last very long. So good.
You guys got the cuss word. First cuss word was sent.
Well, Scott being in Kentucky and me being in Texas, we have very different kinds of bourbon.
Yes.
Whose is better?
I know better than to say mine's better.
Considering Kentucky makes 95% of it, I'd say we're pretty good at it. But others are, they even make a bourbon in California nowadays. It's got to have it has to meet the criteria.
Mm-hmm. One of my favorite bourbons is Japanese bourbon.
Yeah,
it's good.
Yeah, all bourbons are whiskeys, but not all whiskeys are bourbons.
Yep, it's only what, a couple percent difference. What is it?
It has to be 51% corn to start, and it has to be aged
Correct.
in new oak barrels.
5 seconds, guys.
Yes.
Which
That's
is where
right.
Scott and I differ because
Well, should we just keep talking about bourbon, or?
Yeah.
I think so.
What's more fun, bourbon or DMS? I don't know.
Probably bourbon.
Well, this has been a show that's been long in the making. We've been wanting to explore Dominion DMS for years now. I'm glad we were finally able to get it together. We've been working together to try and find some airtime to make this occur, and here we are. So, how about ladies first, Kim? Who are you, and what do you do?
What do I do? I used to joke and say I'm director of do this, do that. So we could go with that, but really I kind of lead the marketing team at Dominion. I think I saw Bill Vaughn was trying to join the call earlier. I may have been in automotive for a mumble number of years. But I've worked at a couple of the key DMS providers in our space. I've spent some time working at a dealer group as well. And I'm just really excited to be here to talk to you all. So thank you for inviting us.
Scott, how about you?
Well, we appreciate you having us on. Like Kim, been in automotive technology probably for 30, well, I don't know how long she's been in it, but 30 years now. So that's been my life and been my career, and been with a few of the major DMS providers as well. Had probably 24 out of those 30 years was spent there, but also had the opportunity to take a couple of companies and help rebuild their sales and marketing teams and go through private equity. and help them out. But basically, yeah, I'm a sales and marketing guy, chief revenue officer here at Dominion DMS, and we're just excited that with the launch of View the last few years, and kind of tell you all about it and kind of our strategy and where we fit. And appreciate you guys having us on.
Of course.
Yeah.
So I think the world was pretty excited to see another DMS come to market. I know I was. And that's no joke at all. I mean, I'm dead serious. We really need more competition in the DMS area. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I haven't, unfortunately, had the opportunity to explore the Dominion DMS for a while. I saw it that the first NADA it was introduced at, but I haven't dove into it since. And Jeff, I think you haven't seen it at all, have you?
No, I haven't. No,
So,
I probably did years ago, maybe before. Was there an early iteration of it that wasn't called View?
yeah, there was an older system. Some called it ACS, some called it Access. Was the older platform of what Dominion had bought back in the day, and then over the last few years, and we sort of tried to launch. Bad time to launch it was COVID. That's when View really got was ready for prime time and got all built 100% in the cloud and Microsoft Azure, and they had the foresight to say, hey, let's build a new 100% cloud built DMS, and started that project and launched it a few years ago, which is View. And then that hit right at the COVID time. So we really feel like we're a startup. We're just getting it out, getting the message out the last few years, and we're really ready to go. So it's exciting times for us.
You mentioned that that's built on Microsoft. What's some of the advantages being built over Microsoft?
Well, there's three big major cloud providers, right? If you look at Google, you look at AWS, Amazon, and you look at Microsoft Azure. So they are the true cloud technology that all the world has gravitated to for a lot of reasons. One, scalability, the ability to quickly create applications. The security is second to none. Even at Microsoft, we have our own security officer, but they have 3,500 just monitoring the Microsoft cloud. So security is at the forefront, and as we see what happened with the CDK attack, but just the ability to program and to write cloud native software, and to you don't have to you can do it in pieces. You don't have to take down complete systems when you're upgrading, when you're enhancing. There's unlimited users, unlimited data, you name it. I'll let Kim chime in, but those are some of the real key advantages to it.
Yeah, and I always have to be careful, because that's where Scott will be like, stop getting so techie. And I'm like, well, some people like the techie part. What Scott was talking about, right, is with Microsoft Azure, there's a couple different things that I really like, because they have what's called microservices. So think of like little packets of code. And that's one of the way, whether it's a patch or an upgrade or whatever it is, they can just infuse these little microservices into the existing code platform without having to bring down a whole system to do an upgrade or apply some new code. And also because of it being truly cloud-based, not just, it's so funny, at NEDA, I talked to some people and they're like, oh, well, my system's in the cloud. I'm like, tell me more. They're like, well, we access it over the internet. Not a cloud platform, but we really are built for the cloud with cloud-based technology. And because of that, Jeff, one of the benefits is it's called active, but it's a complete replication of your DMS in multiple clouds around the United States. Well, the world, but I always visualize it around the United States. So if something does happen, it's not like we're moving you from a server farm in Vegas to a server farm in Jersey. right? It's literally in the cloud. You turn one off, turn one on, and it's a seamless move. So those are two of the things I think are really big advantages.
Yeah, I can definitely see that being a huge advantage.
Isn't speed another factor? Because you've got multiple places where the servers are. So where you might be sitting relative to one server in the world versus another dealer who could be sitting somewhere else. Not everyone having to access it out of New Jersey for, based off your example. That would be speeded up.
Yeah. Yeah. And the flexibility too that we get with like an open API. And because it is Microsoft, right, when we're working with third parties and they want to build a connection to our system, that flexibility that comes with having a Microsoft open API is also a really, really big benefit for our dealers.
Okay.
Yeah. Azure is a great platform for sure. There's a ton of solutions that are already on it. Dealers probably don't even realize, like, and so many of the data systems that are out there utilize it too.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I think I read this stat might be, I haven't looked at it in a couple of months, but it's something like 3/4 of the Fortune 500 companies are running on some kind of Microsoft Azure code. So it's really strong and it works great for really large platforms.
Yeah, and the speed to development is second to none, right? How quickly, and when you're building code and writing in cloud native software that runs in the clouds, it's incredible how fast we can make enhancements, make features, change things, improve things, to get out to clients. And then also, I know we're gonna talk a little bit about AI, but with AI coming, it's just, we're able to infuse that into our system. Doesn't have to layer on top. We can build it right in, and we're already doing that inside the system, which is pretty cool. As these new technologies come along, we're able to quickly integrate them. Whereas, some of that older technology, even the older Unix and GUI and all the old platforms that are out there aren't able to do that.
And that's a good point. That's an example of how those microservices, sorry, apparently this to me is international symbol for microservices. That's what we're doing with the AI, right? Is we can use all those little microservices and get it right down in the code rather than having to do any kind of layering. It's legit in there.
Well, I look forward to diving into the AI side, but I've got two very critical questions for you. Just because Scott brought up a GUI, a graphical user interface, can you use a mouse? And do you have to have the caps lock key on?
Important questions.
Yeah. Yep, and you can use the Control-Alt-Delete button too if you need to, just to shut down the system. Yeah. I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, Austin
You can even use a trackpad on a laptop if you need to. We're ways ahead here.
What are some of the initial?
Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Jeff.
I was just going to ask, what are some of the initial AI features that you're playing around with currently?
Well, we just started down a project that an internal project to infuse AI into our system, and some of the key things we're looking at, and we're already putting in. A lot of it will be based around learning type modules. So the ability to use AI to tell me if you're a new employee or you're new to the service department. Tell me how to use the tutorials to write a repair order or to get into the knowledge base and learn any aspect of the system that you want. We're really going to focus in on reporting. I think there's a lot of ways that everybody uses enterprise-wide reporting and different reporting tools and report generators and custom reports, but we really see AI is going to be a really cool tool to help just build any report that you want, customize or say, hey, I want whatever we're going to call it. We got some different names for it, but AI, go ahead and build me this report that has these fields that has this data that's sorted this way, and boom, there you have it. We also see it as client facing, right? With some of the things that you can do for the client experience and helping the users of the DMS get information in quicker or access information quicker. So we have an ultimate search tool right now that's already embedded in the system that does some of those things, but this AI capability is going to just open up all kinds of ease of use and all kinds of data pulling and collaboration amongst the data that we haven't seen before. So, Kim, I'll let you add to that, but those are the big areas I see it right now.
No, I do too. And we have so many people on our leadership team and on our dev team that have been in the DMS world for a number of years that we tend to be very like, kind of critical and cynical. Like, well, how is this different than ultimate search? What would it do for us instead? How is this going to raise the bar on the dealer's experience or people learning? And so we're always asking those questions, quite honestly. And I know sometimes people are like, no, look, it's really cool. We're like, yes, but it can be better. So one of my favorites is just purchase order as an example, right? Different dealerships have different processes around purchase orders. I need to do. And so that's one of the things that's built into that I like to show people is how do I write a purchase order? And then depending on your access, it'll walk you through how to do that.
You speak about being cynical. And I think when you sit in a dealership for many years and you're in a decision-making position there, it's you kind of focus on the things that are exciting to you. But I think a lot of dealers forget that over 60% of their employees are going to turn over in a year. Think about that for a little. It's a lot. So more than half of the people in a dealership are going to go somewhere else. It's critical that new employees coming in can figure out how to use the softwares. And
yes.
So I love the idea of using the AI as a training device for new employees or even people who may need to get a little out of their comfort zone with what they're doing in their daily processes to find new parts of the system to do a better job with. So that's great.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's one of the things I think I was looking through some VOC survey scores recently from some of our installs, and one resonated with me, which was that basically whether it was somebody who had been with them for a couple generations or a younger, newer team member, that the system was really easy for them to figure out and know how to function rather than memorizing F5 or this screen number or this acronym to get to do this task, and that they could hit the tab button on their keyboard or they could use a mouse. It was really the way the users, depending on the age, wanted to use it. That VOC survey, it really represented that we've done something that works for all generations, and I thought that was cool.
Very important.
Yep. So let's see. We've got AI being used for new training. I think that's brilliant. Again, I can't applaud that enough. So what other ideas have been floated around? So I try to think of how AI could be used in a DMS system. I mean, reporting's a great one. And you mentioned that, Scott.
Yeah.
But I sometimes wonder on like the accounting side, like how great it would be if you were able to take an AI and be able to look at the financial statement, say, look, there's this little hole over here, or, where's this inventory at? Where's this part? It's been sitting there a long time. So.
Yeah, no, I think the possibilities are endless. You're right. I mean, in accounting, there's always going to have to be some kind of oversight, right? We're going to want a little bit of auditing, but I know my oldest son, he's he graduated and he just got his CPA, and we're working for these accounting firms. They're all talking about AI. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, it's cool. But they're all talking about AI. We're going to do away with CPAs, and we're going to do away with accountants and controllers, and is it going to be able to do all these accounting things? And I think you're right. I think where it's going to help is it's going to do those auditing type things for you and say, here's the red flags. Here's what you missed. Here's the steps that weren't taken correctly. But I still think it's going to require that human oversight and auditing, especially on the accounting side, to say, okay, is the AI right? Is it, did it? Yeah, yes. Oh, thank God it missed a few of those red flags, and we missed something on the financial statement, or these things are out of balance, or what have you. But I still think the human's going to need to oversee that and correct it and make sure that it's it's good to go, at least in the foreseeable future, until I guess everybody can trust. The AI systems are learning. They're just, ours is doing the same thing. It's like it's pretty funny. You can tell it to do certain stuff, but it's actively learning while you're telling it. And then so there are a few things it'll come back with, and you're like, why did it say that? Well, because it was actively learning, and it doesn't know everything yet that's in the system. So for a while it's going to take some checks and balances, and I don't think the human being's going away, but I sure think it can speed things up to pick out errors and point you in the right direction to fix things.
And I think one of the things that Scott mentioned earlier too was ultimate search, right? Which is something that until the AI learns, ultimate search, which is already in our system, is still pretty powerful. So to use your point, Alex, right? If I put in a part number, ultimate search is going to go show me like what POs is it on, what ROs is that part number on, how many do I have on hand, and I can click on it and then find out, like, is it an in and out, like, right, what's the speed that I need to reorder it. And so I think ultimate search will still fill in, it's existing right now, and I think it'll fill in some of those spaces as a core feature before AI learns and learns and learns.
Yeah.
So what's the implementation process like? So that I've been through one of these before. And you're talking like a year.
At least.
Yeah.
Yeah. They're well, I think we all know switching DMSs is nobody ever said it was fun. I mean, some people would maybe even liken it to a root canal or worse, right? So but the cool thing about what we're trying to do, and again, the strategy that we have is just being a really great cloud core DMS, meaning we just want to be the core DMS that is in the cloud that runs your business, right? That is that cash register, that operational piece that does it great for you. And then you can build your tech stack your way. And we'll get into that a little bit. So, we really have here, we have 4 pillars, or kind of a hidden 5th one that we're hanging our hat on. And the first one is freedom. And we can talk about that in a little bit on,
I like
what I was
that
just talking
already.
about. Building your tech stack your way. The second one is foundation, around our cloud-based built and security, and we'll talk about that. But the third area that you're getting into, our third pillar, is called client experience. And then our 4th area is client engagement and support. And, Alex, what you were asking about is the implementation. Well, it's no fun. What we've tried to do is create our system. We say it is so easy to use. It's for anybody from boomers to Gen Z. So that's step one. We make this thing. It's web based. It's in the cloud. Everybody's used to it everybody's gone to a website before. Everybody's clicked on Google or done a search. It's that simple. So first off, it's really easy to learn. And then what we do is we have a pretty cool, we kind of call it like a TurboTax for onboarding. It's called our Vox system. It's our view onboarding experience. And this is a complete system designed, because it's no fun setting up all your specifications and all your workbooks and all your manuals. And then, you have to do all that pre-work. Well, this intuitive system kind of helps you along that way and does it with you and does it for you. It's intuitive based. So you answer a certain accounting setup question, and it knows based on that answer where to take you and what you need to answer next and what you don't need to answer, so you don't have to go through all kinds of work and manual workbooks and things to get the system set up. And then once you're done with that, we have 3 levels of implementation. So we'll get you all set up with that Vox system. It's so easy to use and get you pre-planned and get you ready to go. We'll do some conversions. Obviously, a first pass and a second pass. We make sure the data is correct with you. We bring in our install team. So we have the trainers on site. They're there with you, helping you, training you, just like normal. But then we take it a step further. After you're done with implementation, we give you optimization, because you're not going to get to everything during the implementation. You're not going to get to those key reports. You're not going to get to a month end, probably. So we turn you over to our optimization team, and they take you through those critical things and some of the things that we didn't get to show you. They stay with you for another month. And then after that, we bring in what we call our client success managers. And these are people that are going to be with you, touch base once a month. They're out in your dealerships once a quarter, helping you utilize the system. And these are, other companies have performance coaches, and they come in and they know inventory, or they know parts and service like X time or my car, but they don't know DMSs. Our people come in and know the DMS and help you utilize it better. And all that's included. We include that all in the price of the system. You get the 3 levels of implementation, and then you get our obviously you get our support, U.S. based support here in the United States. It's delineated and segmented by department. Your person in the United States can answer your question that has years and years of parts experience. So we're trying to make this, because to your point, Alex, it isn't any fun switching DMSs. But if you can gain features and gain security and gain affordability, and we can help make your processes better and your workflows better and all that, you got to look at it. Technology is ever evolving, and you owe it to yourself to look at it. Even though switching costs are tough, we make it really easy to do that.
Well,
And Alex, I just want to give props one more time to that Vox system, VOX, that Scott referenced. I started in this crazy business as a DMS installer. Like, okay, now I'm going to age myself. Pre-Y2K, I was doing install. And yeah, it's, how many times would we sit there with workbooks and they're filling them out and they're like, why do I have to answer this again? I've already answered this. Well, yes, but this is a different part of the process where we need you to give us that information. And they would do the whole eye roll, or sometimes they'd push it off the side of the desk and be like, I'll have to get back to this later because I've got an actual job to do. And the Vox system really is a game changer for that, because it's very wizardy. And that's a word, by the way.
Sure.
It's very wizardy. It takes us through it. It remembers things you've already put in, so you don't have to duplicate it. And then if you say no to one question, it's not going to make you go to the next 6 questions, because they're not relevant. And so I really think that Vox onboarding is a game changer for the client experience and the transition.
Nice.
Never considered that.
I know you're bringing back some bad memories. But one thing that you said, the first pillar being freedom. So you all want to be the DMS, and just the DMS, that and be very good at that, and not build this whole ecosystem of, that. Yeah. So freedom is a great word in that vision. So you say freedom to have your own tech stack as a dealer. So you're free to choose your own CRM, free to choose your own website, free to choose your own inventory management solution, or service scheduler, or parts inventory tool, whatever it might be. So in that freedom, and this is a very vendor-esque question here, but there are some fees out there that maybe some DMS systems might charge.
That's right. Yeah.
It might be an entire revenue stream. I don't know.
Yeah. It is. Yeah. It's a shame. Well, I think someone just paid $630 million for some of that. One of the lawsuits on that point, Alex. But yeah.
By the way, that was just the latest part of that entire endeavor. There were settlements paid before that.
Yeah, right. And from another company too that had to do that, right? So yeah, we're definitely not that. We're not trying to make that a revenue stream for us. We're not doing that, and we're not in that game. What we want in freedom is you to build your, like you said, Alex. We want you to build your tech stack your way. Invariably, one man, but I haven't seen it in 30 years. You cannot be everything to everybody. Many of the vendors have tried. You can't be the DMS, best CRM, best service lane technology, best enterprise reporting, best payment processing, best rental, best you. There's so many categories. You take menus. I mean, everybody's tried menus, right? And right now you could say, hey, well, maybe Darwin does it the best. You look back on CRM, and Alex, you mentioned that. I remember way back in the day, at Reynolds and Reynolds, they bought a company called Dealer Kit, and they paid $12 million for it or whatever. And it quickly was not very good. And so they rewrote it into contact management. Well, contact management at the time started getting the doors beat off it by a company called Autobase, which was out of Indianapolis, which then got beat by a company called eLeads. Then eLeads got bought by one of the competitors. Yeah. And then you had, here comes Vin. Vin was a great CRM. And then that got bought. And now you have companies like DriveCentric and others that, are doing some more cool stuff. And that's what, so, and then with AI, who knows what CRM is going to be able to do, right? So that's just one category. You take that for service lane technology. You take that for, you take Dealer Ops, which is a great reporting tool now that's rivaling an Accessa, which is a good tool, which is rivaling a Frog Data or a Stone Eagle for F&I reporting. They're very, very good at what they do. And we want you to be able to take that. We can't be that. We don't want to be that. We're never going to, in no offense, either Kentuckion or Reynolds or CDK, they've all tried. They can't do it either. So as technology evolves and we're cloud built, you can take all these technologies and you can, let us help you run your business, count your money, keep you secure, run your operations. You get these fancy apps and these great things that help you make money and help you take care of your clients and your consumers. And then, as that changes, like I say this, Jeff, you probably had a BlackBerry. I don't know if you had a BlackBerry. I had a BlackBerry.
Oh, yeah.
You're opening up a whole can of worms now.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I mean, that movie's great too, though.
Oh, he's gonna pull one out.
Does he have it? Oh, has he got his BlackBerry?
You just lit up the biggest BlackBerry fan of all time.
Okay, sorry, Scott. I'm interjecting. How many times have we been in a movie or a meeting back in those days, and you'd see somebody? Oh, I have to back up a little bit. They're at a meeting, and they would do this, try to subtly look at it, and then do the whole respond, whatever the camera. But you're oh, you're looking at your crackberry. You are not paying attention.
I love my crackberry. I thought crackberry was the coolest thing ever. But the point being, it was great until the iPhone came, right? And it's obsolete. And that's the point with the tech stack. We use an analogy too, Jeff and Alex. I show the model of who builds a car. I said, what do you mean? Well, Ford builds a car. Mercedes builds the car. Well, if you look at who builds the car, yeah, they do the powertrain and they build the engine and they put it together. But if you look at who builds the seats and the steering and the suspension and the wheels and the tires and the stereos, you got your Lears and your Bosches and your Michelins and your Harmans and your why? Because they do it best. They build those things better than anybody, and that's why the supply chain is what it is to the automotive manufacturers. So we want to be that. We want, we're going to be we want to be the best. The only other one built in the cloud is Techion, but we're going to run your operations, unlimited data, unlimited users. You build your tech stack your way. You have the freedom to do that. We're going to have straightforward agreements. We're not nickel and diming you on integration fees. And so we want you to be free to choose, because technology is going to evolve. And we figure that you're going to have to evolve with it. And a lot of these applications that are out there are getting really stale. We talked about that from these other companies that are trying to be everything to everybody. They can't keep up, and a lot of their ancillary applications are getting beat and they're getting really stale, and they're very expensive. So that's another thing. You got to be able to let dealers say, man, I can't pay $5,000 or $3,000 a store for CRM anymore, or whatever it is. There's got to be a better technology for a more affordable price, and they got to be able to choose that.
Yes.
It's the price point to the dealer. Also, like I'm trying not to put you on the spot with like, what's the price of the EMS? But but is it a substantial savings?
Yes, it is. For that reason, we want you to use that extra money to build the tech stack your way. Obviously, we want to charge a good price for a good value, but our fifth kind of hidden pillar is affordability. We want to be affordable. We don't want to be cheap, but we're affordable based on number of users, based on the training, based on your size, based on a few other factors. That look, you're gonna. A DMS is a DMS. You have to have it. You need something to run your business, and everybody needs a system, no matter what business you're in. But we don't need to be raking you over the coals for it, right? I mean, and there's only so many things you can do with a DMS, anyways. You have to integrate with the manufacturers. There's only so many things you're going to do in parts. There's only so many things you're going to do in service and in accounting and F&I and sales. I mean, the dealership processes and the way you have to integrate with manufacturers and do things, or it's a finite set kind of a platform. So you're going to use what you need, and we got all the features and stuff that you need, but you don't need to pay an exorbitant amount for stuff that you're not using or you don't need.
Does that include 10-year, 20-year contracts?
I was just going to ask that.
Jeff, we're starting off with 15 to 18. We figure it's kind of like a bourbon. The sweet spot for a bourbon is 15 to 18 years, somewhere in there.
Yeah.
When you sign up, we put a bourbon away for you.
Yeah,
you can get out when it's
12-year pappy or a 15-year pappy. What DMS term do you want here?
I hadn't thought of that. We could have back in the day. We could have put a bottle on top of the big server rack, and then had them open it after so many years on the system.
I like that. Yeah. No, I love it. We're a minimal. Yeah, we are. We're a minimal term. We obviously got to get you installed, and I don't think anybody wants to switch DMSs every year. But we don't lock you into any long-term agreements. We figure if our system's working and we're supporting you the way you are and the way you want to be supported, and we're helping you, that's the thing. What are we helping you do? We're just here to help. Can we help you improve something? That's what selling is. I'm not trying to convince you of anything. I'm trying to help you improve a condition of some kind. And if we can do that, we figure you're going to stay with us. We don't need to lock you into long-term agreements.
Yeah, or even, Alex, think about this, and Jeff, right? The whole concurrent thing, like, oh, it's okay. You can add that to the system. We'll just make it concurrent to your current term, whatever, elongated, right? But for a while, that was even about users. You could buy users in batches of 5 or batches of 10, and then those were concurrent. Well, and then eventually somebody'd be like, well, I need to audit. I don't think we need more user licenses, user access, or why am I paying for 20 more accesses than I actually need? Well, because you signed up for them, so now you have to pay for them for another 5 years. And so our unlimited user approach, I think, really is fiscally beneficial to a dealer, to just know that they don't have to plan ahead or worry that 4 years from now they're going to be in a different space and they're still paying for things they don't use anymore. And the unlimited data history that Scott mentioned, right? That includes like electronic documents. If I sign an RO, and that automatically gets stored as part of my data history as well. Oh, dog barking.
Amazon's back. Yeah.
Yeah.
What about your dealerships? I mean, I know a lot of dealerships, because you were mentioning earlier, you don't want to switch every year. You don't want to really, never really want to switch, but you've got dealerships that have been on the same DMS for decades. A lot of data in there. What are you able to do to get all that accumulated data over into View?
Well, the good news is, that's a great question, Jeff. I mean, the good news is most of the major ones, there are, I won't list all of them, but we have 9 competitors, and the majority of them, we have a data share conversion agreement with that. If someone's to switch, they'll, we're supposed to all play nice in the sandbox. Not everybody does, so we do. But we've seen some. Obviously, a few major competitors, Techio and CDK, are going at it over Asbury a little bit on that whole deal. But we don't want to be that either. But yeah, we're able to we're able to map and extract the data from all the major competitors. We've done most of them. I think we've only have one more to do that we haven't converted out of the majority of the competitors. So we're in good shape there, and we do a couple passes just to make sure that all that converts correctly, and we go over it with the dealership and make sure that everything is mapped correctly using that Vox system that we talked about, and it's been pretty seamless, especially since our technology and how we're built makes it even easier for us.
Excellent. Okay.
Yeah, I would imagine with y'all's experience from past systems and, like just building modern technology in general, you've got object models and things that tried and true at this point. It'd be pretty easy to map it all up and port it all in.
Yep. Yeah. I mean, that's a good word, Alex. We, at NADA, we had, I won't mention the name, but we had a real large, one of the top, dealer groups in the nation, size wise, and top 10 and all that. They're looking at some different stuff with us. And the key word that we got was modern. Wow, this is modern. Yeah, and yep, that's great. Yeah, I mean, that's what we want it to be, right? Eventually, we all got to get there, or we're going to be stuck with BlackBerry. And although I'd love to be stuck with a BlackBerry, it just doesn't work. I can't do iTunes. I can't do iTunes on my BlackBerry, which kind of sucks.
No. TikTok doesn't play the same way, huh?
Yeah. But I will mention one thing, and that was a group that was coming by. I just throw this out because we have something pretty cool that is our View DMS. It's the same DMS system. It's Microsoft Azure. It's the whole ball of wax. But what we were able to do, and really during that whole cyber attack, and look, we understand that can happen to anybody. I mean, I think we're obviously guarded against it because we're in the cloud and we're backed up in another cloud, and we have Microsoft, and we have a lot more checks and balances that can't really happen to us like it did CDK, and they got to their backup. But during that whole thing, what we learned was that we had the system, our View system, sitting here, and this was above board. This was not trying to sell anybody anything. We were able. There was a few people that came to us, and we came up with a solution called View to the Rescue during that. Now, who knew that they were going to be down for 9 days or 11 days? But it took us a few days to come up with this. But we said, what if we could offer our DMS free of charge, and knowing full well that when CDK came back on, they're gonna stay with CDK. They're locked into contracts, and all their data's in there. One, we didn't want to convert the data because it's corrupt. It was corrupted, and didn't want that. But we could give you a full functioning DMS to run, to write a repair order, to do a parts ticket, to get a car sold, to get your consumers out the door, right? Because it wasn't just a CDK thing. It was a Nissan. Like if Nissan was down and somebody went to the Nissan store, they thought it was Nissan. They didn't know it were Mercedes. They didn't know, oh, the Mercedes store's down. Jeff's store's down. It's not CDK. We don't know what DMS they're on. I'm a consumer. I don't even know what a DMS is. So we were able to offer that. A few people took us up on it and said, hey, oh God, thank you. That's really cool. We'll get you running. Now CDK did come up, back up. But what we're offering now is, what if we, for those that are locked into really long contracts, like or the publics that answer to Wall Street, what if we were able to give them a business continuity plan, and we call it ViewNet? It's a safety net. You can have our DMS to back up your DMS, but the difference is now we can have all your setups in there. We can, figure out how you want to convert some of the data, whether it's through your CRM or FTP files, or how often do you want a baseline? Do we even want to convert accounting balances? I don't know. But in the case of an emergency, a disaster, cyber attack, you just switch over to us. You're up and running. You got a backup plan. It's a very minimal charge. And then, maybe you date us for a little while, and maybe later on you can look to marry us, but you may have 5 years left with CDK. And now you have a contingency plan here to run your business should something go wrong.
That's
So
brilliant.
we're offering that
Yeah,
as well.
that's a great idea.
And some of the dealers we're talking to, they're like, well, I already have a backup. Well, who does your backup? It's the same DMS. I'm like, well,
Yeah.
not really the backup to the backup, right? And we saw that in June, July. Or what was the other one I heard? I don't know, but the bottom line is you can't really have a backup by the same provider that's running your daily business, right? You need to have an alternate solution just in case.
Mm-hmm.
Can I ask a favor?
Yeah.
I think that is a critical bit of knowledge that dealers should know. Hey, this is what a backup truly is. And by the way, you can get one. Can we put that in the dealer refresh forums? That would be.
Yeah.
We'd
I mean,
love
yeah.
That would be great.
We'd love it. Yeah. And I think, Alex, I was just talking to our BDC director this morning about that too. He's like, I don't know if a lot of people know the difference between a DMS and a backup. And in CDK's case, the backup was hacked, right? I mean, that got hacked too. And what is a true backup, and where is that hosted or held, versus a true business continuity plan to where you are safe and secure, but you can function and run if something was to go wrong. So we really do need to educate the market on that a little bit, and we're trying to figure out how to do that.
Well,
But
another one that I don't think dealers truly appreciate just how much they're spending for their DMS. And I mean that in the vendor fees.
Yeah.
So like I have a client I was talking through some of this with the other day, and he was doing the math on it and realized, oh my God, on top of the contract that I'm already in, I'm also spending nearly $8,000 a month on fees that I didn't know I was paying. Like,
yeah,
I just don't know just how massive that is. So getting back to your whole freedom thing, the pillar is just, it's super invaluable.
Yeah.
And question on that front is the APIs that you're providing to the other vendors. I assume that they're, standard data that any vendor would want through maybe Authenticom, for example. So you're getting that same DMS data that you would be receiving from others, and so you're not losing out on anything as a vendor is really what I'm getting at here. But you're missing the fees, or not missing the fees.
Yeah, correct. Open APIs. Obviously, everybody wants to save time and who's going to write to who. And I'm a sales and marketing guy, so I'm not Kim probably knows the techie side of it a little better than I do, or our development teams. But yeah, we'll make it. We want all the major integration points to work. We really want you to be able to. We want you to have the choice of the top 3 to 5 vendors or apps in each category. That's what we want, and we want to help. We want to help advise. We could say, hey, look, we don't care who you choose. We can tell you what we're hearing and tell you who charges all the fees and who doesn't. And if you want us to be that trusted advisor for your whole tech stack, we'll be happy to help. But we're gonna stay in our lane and give you the awesome system to run your business and run your operations, and then we can help you in any way with the stuff that you feel is crucial to making you money or taking care of your consumers. Obviously, there's a lot of great choices out there. We're trying to even get some of the industry consultants to to do be like I was trying to get one to be like the Gartner or the Forrester of DMS systems. Somebody should be advising people of what their choices are, and if dealers let us in or let anybody in and let us look at all the fees and stuff, you're right, Alex, we can help save you a lot of money, or somebody, any consultant can. I mean, they're just, there's so much money that are being charged that is unnecessary, that if they just open it up and say, hey, look, you don't even have to buy from Dominion DMS, or you don't have to buy View, like, why don't you just take ViewNet? But we'll help you. Get your whole tech stack built the way you need to, and help you.
Well, if you ever get that, oh, I'm sorry, Kim. Just wanted to throw out a quick point on that one. Definitely add this question to the bunch: is the API that the vendor is using, is it a real-time pool or is it a nightly pool? That changes the amount drastically.
Mm-hmm.
So, but go ahead, Kim. I'm sorry to interrupt you.
Oh, no, I was just going to say, when you talked about the cost, and again, it's established, we've worked with other DMS companies, right? It was a great conversation I had with someone well-known in the industry who has built a company, sold it, retired, bored in retirement. So now he's thinking about creating a new company because that's what he does. And he came to me because he knew he could trust me and all of that. And he was like, well, what's the integration like? What's the process like? How long does it take? And I could be upfront with him and be like, look, you're not going to pay 6 figures up front, right? And then you're not going to have to sign an agreement, and you have to wait for 6 to 9 months just to see if we're going to respond back to you after you've paid us 6 figures. And I said, in fact, as Scott mentioned dealer ops earlier in the call, I was like, Mark Bagley at dealer ops is right over there. I'm like, why don't you just go talk to him about what was it like? How long did it take? How easy was it, or hard? And get his feedback. And so my colleague did, and he came back and he was like, that was an amazing conversation. He's like, to not have to hear me say what it was like, but to go talk to another vendor who had experienced it and hear it from them. He's like, that was a really strong conversation about how easy it was and flexible to work with your API and integrate. So, yeah.
Very nice.
I got to ask Scott, are you still with us?
Looks like I'm frozen. I'm
Yeah.
yelling.
He's with us in
Looks like
audio only.
Looks like I'm yelling at you, or I just left to get a bourbon. I don't know which one.
He's thinking
I don't
hard.
know.
He's thinking
How do I
hard.
unfreeze myself here? Let's see. Do I hang up? Or
Shake your internet router.
What's that? Yeah. Let me see if I
Delete.
can. Let me hang up and come back on. Is that cool? Can I do that? Or
yeah, you can do that.
Yeah. I can't unfreeze here.
It was odd.
All right.
How
There it is.
what's the feedback been on the ViewNet? Do you have a lot of dealerships signed up for that?
Well, we just launched it. I'd say, the CDK thing happened, and then we came up with View to the rescue, and then said, hey, this could be a viable. Didn't want to make it an insurance product, so it's an assurance business. So we, just literally the last 30 to 45 days, Kim, we've launched this, and we're getting a lot of good, just like your reaction. Wow, that's a neat thing. And there was a cool article in Automotive News. I think it was from Edwards out in Oklahoma. I believe they're in Oklahoma or Iowa. I think it was Iowa, that said, dealers really should look at backing up their DMSs with another system, another DMS. And we've started to talking to some of the bigger groups, and they're like, wow, we got to get this to our chief technology officers and others. So we've had some great conversations. I think everybody's excited about it. We're just going to start piloting it in a few dealer groups just to make sure, hey, this is how your specs would work. This is what would convert. This was what wouldn't. Here's how you would do the minimal training, because what if they did go down? They'd need to know how to write a service repair order or a car deal. So we'll have, online tutorials that we have for training, plus our Vox system. So it'd be, we think it's going to be pretty seamless. We're just kind of in that piloting stage right now, and trying to get a few signed up with us.
And think about that, Jeff, because if it's running in the background and the chart of accounts is already built and your inventory is already in there, right? It's a shell, but it's your shell. It's your information, not like just some generic system that's sitting out there. We've had OEMs look at it. Some OEMs have been very interested in knowing more about it as well. So I think it's very rare, I think, in the automotive space when there's a legit new idea. I mean, we've all been around for a bit to know that you're like, oh, yeah, I've seen that before. Or we were walking the floor and I said, that's the same talk track we've used for 20 years. I can't believe it's still, but ViewNet and this backup concept of a business continuity plan that's not on your current DMS, I think we're very fortunate that it's something new for dealers to really think about how can they protect themselves in their business.
Mm-hmm.
You could feed data out of that, couldn't you?
Yeah, I guess you could. Yeah.
I saw a moment ago, Alex's eyes were like up here thinking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's leave that one alone.
Yeah. Get us all in trouble.
Yeah.
I'll be saying stuff that the IT and product people are like, nah, what's the sales guy saying? Yeah.
Yeah, other reasons too. But that has a lot of legs. Yeah, like you're right, Kim. Like that is a truly innovative way of doing things, and I can see where that could go. That could take Dominion to whole new levels without having to be the actual DMS that's dealt with every day in the store.
Right.
Yeah, you guys are really onto something.
Yeah,
I like it.
Appreciate it.
I think it's literally, I think Dominion has something super special here. And I'm not just saying that because I'm here. Like, I wouldn't be here. Like, when Scott was interviewing us, right? We have this thing called Believe. And I really believe it's something different, and the team is different, and the culture is different, and how we want to approach the dealers and work with them. It's different than what I've seen in decades past.
Very positive.
Mm-hmm.
So if dealerships want to get some more information, maybe ViewNet, what's the best way to go about that?
We have a cryptically labeled website, super hard, dominiondms.com. And at the top, there's a drop down for security. So if they just want to see an overview of our security, pun intended, overview, with our compliances and certifications and what makes us different with Microsoft Azure, or in that same drop down, they can click onto ViewNet and see more about that solution as well.
Cool. Yeah, I'll get a link to that over into the forums. Great. Attached to today's show. Yeah.
Let's get some.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, Alex, I mean, we've all been in the industry for so long. I mean, I haven't been to NADA in probably over 5 years, whereas prior to that, I went every single year. Went to all the conferences, spoke at many of the conferences, and as you said, it's just what's new. You'll see something reappear. It's like, we were working on that 10 years ago, or we were talking about that 5 years ago. It's rare that you see something. It's like, this is truly, truly innovative, and it's something that every dealership could actually use and benefit from. So it's good. Yeah, it's good. Very good.
Yeah, that's a good way to end it right there, Jeff.
Yeah, I think so. Get on to Friday. Here we go. Yeah.
There you go. Clip that for your marketing team.
Yeah. Well, we
All right.
appreciate you guys. This has been fun, and love what you guys are doing and providing this forum, and we're glad to be a part of it. But appreciate we just want to get some education and awareness out there, and if, like we said, if we can help, we just want to help, and I think we got a couple of solutions that can do that.
Excellent.
Yeah, we'll help get that word out.
Thank you. And thanks, guys, for inviting us today.
You got it.
Mhm.
Thank you.
See
y'all.
y'all.
All right.
Happy
Everyone
Friday.
have a good weekend.
Friday.
Take care.
Yeah. All right.
Bye-bye.